Good
morning.
Good morning, everyone. No one, or afternoon, or evening.
Okay.
If you're rewatching this, you can skip forward a couple minutes. We usually give the first like 4 or 5 minutes for everyone to join in. I know everyone's got their own stuff going on wherever they're checking in from. But again, yep, we'll give everyone a couple minutes. But to start, I'm Charlie, and this is
I'm Taylor.
We're both part of the onboarding team for Access Now. You've probably seen us mostly in Twist, sometimes emails, sometimes tickets, or maybe you are familiar with us from here, hopefully. But yeah, we are going to be going over a couple important things today. As today is the 30th of June, July 1st marks the start of Q2. So I will pin the ad index, the revenue index, to the page here soon once we have some people join. Slow start. But yeah, so if you are saying, hey, Charlie Taylor, my EPMBs dropped starting July 1st. I didn't really make any changes on my end. Well, what the heck is going on? We can add the ad revenue index actually right now, just so you guys can see that the index does have does have a direct correlation and impact on the revenue you make and your EPMB. Oh, yeah. I'll pin that there because I'm sure we're going to talk about it 5 or 6 more times throughout the day. But if you guys are just joining, feel free to write anything in the comment section down below, whatever it may be. Hopefully regarding Ezoic, we'll cover everything regarding Ezoic. But if you have complaints about how our program runs, honestly, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'd rather make the changes so you guys have a better process moving forward and that others do as well. Or if you're like, hey, Charlie, I saw this is in the dashboard. I'm curious of what this does or how it works or what the function might be. We can cover things like that. Or you're saying, hey, Charlie, I set up, beta ad formats in my ad tester settings. What might that be like? Honestly, whatever you guys want to cover, we're more than happy to go over that with you all. Yeah, we'll give everyone a couple more minutes before we really start going into it. I see we are live on YouTube. Make sure this is working on Facebook. I see someone gave a like to Facebook. Awesome. Okay, cool. So those are working. I want to make sure that's all right. Any vibe, Mr. D. I want to say you have one of the top tier names we've seen here so far. But please approve my site for monetization. If that is for Zoic, go ahead and drop your domain down in the comment section if you're comfortable with that. We would be more than happy to just pull it up and give you a quick 10-second spiel on why maybe the domain is still under review, or maybe what the process might look like from your end. Backski, excuse me. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Patik, hello, Mawix, how are you guys? Thank you all for joining us again. Or if you're new, Mech Blog Founder, yep. But yeah, thank you guys for joining again. And if you're new, we can reintroduce ourselves. I'm Charlie from the onboarding team for Access Now, and this is
I'm Taylor.
Also part of the onboarding team of Access Now. Christian, thanks for dropping your domain down in the comment section. If you want to give a little bit more insight to what exactly the issue is, of course, I can visit your site on my end and kind of check things out. But a little bit more insight would be perfect.
You can also post on Twist.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely be able to take a look a little more in depth.
Yeah, now that we are both in here and we both have our computers, if you guys aren't comfortable with posting your domain name here in the comment section, feel free to just open up a thread in Twist, and maybe we can try to quickly find them and pull it up for you and kind of see
Yes, definitely.
where things go. Christian says, I just want to make sure the mixed content errors went away. Okay, let me just try to recreate this on my end. Okay, so when I initially load your page, Christian, I'm getting the page with without any CSS. However, when I add $no cache to the end of the URL, all the content is loading. So if you are actually caching outside of Ezoic, this is actually going to be the issue. Maybe if I can check the headers, I can see where exactly it's coming from. But it does seem like, Christian, you do have external cache enabled outside of Zoic. When I review the headers, I'm seeing a ridge site sol, which essentially means either your host or someone is serving cache content. Basically, to give you kind of a deeper explanation here, if I were to visit your site, how I just did, Christian, my user request path would go from my computer to the origin server through the Zoic CDN. And when you have certain caching enabled on your origin server or at your host, they can actually deliver content directly to the user. So that might actually bypass a lot of the CDN, or might actually bypass the CDN, and which is why we don't see Ezoic versions of your site. But again, Christian, visit your homepage in an incognito tab, and when it loads without CSS, do no cache to the end of the URL. And that will basically visit the page bypassing cache, and then you'll see that CSS loads top to bottom from there. We can continue to try to troubleshoot this here in the live stream, but if it gets pretty crazy and hectic with questions, I want to make sure that I get to everyone. I think one of my previous old habits was I would kind of go into really long explanations, and then people would ask questions and I wouldn't get to them maybe like 15 minutes later. So if they were looking for a quick answer, they would kind of have to wait. So I'm gonna try to do a better job, everyone, of just kind of like keeping up a solid pace, and I can always work backwards if possible. Maybe I'm just missing the lingo, but I'm just out of curiosity. What's a mech blog? Just curiosity. This Patrick says Batsky, mech blog founder. But yeah, Christian, everything else looks good from my end. Only when I bypass the cache, but definitely something is enabled caching wise, either via a plugin if you're using WordPress or something at your host. Sometimes people also have HTML caching. But yeah, I would just say clear all external forms of caching, and all of the features that you use for your current caching are available under the site speed tab of your, the speed tab of your dash. Junaid Khan, please excuse me if I mispronunciated that. But first off, I'd also like to say hello. I don't think we've had you in here yet, so thanks for joining. He or she says, "Sir, I have a question that is Zoic considering adding any other payout options other than Payoneer, like TransferWise, etc., or not?" And my second question: can we apply to Zoic access with 0 page views? Two great questions. Yes, you can do other forms of payment depending on your location, but you can do direct bank transfer, or you can add a credit card. I can actually add this. Wait, I don't know why I typed it in there. I can add this link for you, which will basically go over all the different forms of payment you can actually use, and maybe the fees and processes that might include. I know Payoneer does include some service fees, especially when you are transferring from US dollars to your local currency. But yes, we do already have different forms of payment built out. When you all add it to the bottom right now, and I'll pin it so you guys can see it. Yeah, when you are in the dashboard, you can actually just go to settings and then you'll see payment settings. And from there, you can change your form of payment. Pretty self-explanatory from there. But if you are having trouble, just let us know. We can go back and get it. And then to answer the second part of your question, yes, you can apply to Access Now with 0 page views. But something I want you to consider is when you do sign up your site, we have to review, 2 things in regarding to your account in order to approve you for monetization. The first will be the content on your domain. So, we'll be looking at the content to making sure everything's high quality there. But then the second part of that is we will actually be reviewing your traffic to make sure that it is real and high quality. So if you have absolutely 0 page views, that's not going to be your hindering fact of joining the program. But in order to get approved for monetization, you will actually have to have at least a couple hundred page views. That way we can ensure that the traffic is also high quality. So yes, you can join and integrate. Sorry, I'm just gonna click our meeting room. I forgot to check in. So you can still integrate your site with 0 page views, and if you're still generating no traffic, there'll actually be no issue with that. It's just gonna be a hindrance to getting into the monetization. But again, you'll have full access to our CDN, free GDPR, hosting, analytics, Leap. You'll basically have access to all of that prior. So if you're saying, oh, I do have 0 page views, but I'm really going to put in a lot of effort over the next week, 2 weeks to write more content and improve SEO and kind of grow traffic, I would actually suggest you integrating your site regardless and then using the tools to help grow your site because they're there for free. So there's no reason why you shouldn't. Perfect. Thank you, Christian. And after you do that, let us know. We can I'll just reload your page and double check it, bypassing cache and see to make sure that we're actually showing Ezoic versions of your pages. Oh, nice. Yeah, the Income School YouTube channel is a great avenue to just to see more resources and kind of see what publishers at the same site view are doing. But yeah, the Income School YouTube channel is really great. Christian, purging the Zoic cache is perfect, but I just want to make sure that you're actually disabling all external forms of caching because they can still hold cache and bypass our CDN. Hi, my site is not approved with an Adsense account, but is approved within my Zoic account to show ads on my site. My question is, if I run a Zoic ads on my site, will Adsense approve my site? So running a Zoic ads will have no effect on an Adsense approval. So sort of a follow-up question. Is your site approved for Ad Manager? I know this might sound a bit confusing because we're mentioning 3 different things, but essentially Ad Manager is the program you apply to through Zoic to show ads, and AdSense is the Google kind of like ad serving service, if that makes sense. But no, to answer the last part of your question, Zoic ads will not have AdSense approve your site. But if you are showing Ezoic ads right now, that does mean that you're approved for Ad Manager, which is great. I'm not seeing the microphone thing work, but I think we're okay. People are answering. Do I need to remove server level cache plugins when I use the Ezoic Cloudflare integration? So if these are enabled externally, either at your host or through a plugin, like I know a lot of people we've seen use Lightspeed Cache. Lightspeed Cache is not compatible with Zoic, so if you are again caching outside of Zoic, I would just disable it. And all of the functions that you guys use through those caching apps are available for free through Zoic, and that way you can just ensure that you're not conflicting with our CDN. Sometimes you have random small things happen when you have them externally enabled. So just to ensure that Ezoic versions do show along with ads, I would just say disable it, purge it, disable it, and then use Ezoic's caching from there on forward. SK Educate says, hello, my site is currently at level 1 and it costs 20,000 visits on June. Should I apply for level 2 or is it done automatically? Also, how long will it take for the level upgrade? First off, well done on the progress. That's awesome. But should you apply from level 1 to level 2? Yes, you actually have to apply from level 1 to level 2. It will not be done automatically. The only automatic upgrade will be from Access Now to level 1, so you don't have to worry about it there. But yes, you do want to apply to go to level 2. And I honestly would say do that right now if you haven't, because if you hit 20,000 visits in June and you also met the minimum revenue requirements to level up, then do that now, because today's the 30th of June and those earnings and page views are going to have to be made within 1 month's time. And that doesn't mean 30 days total. That means June 1st to June 30th or May 1st to May 31st. So it's going to have to be done in 1 calendar month. But good question. Awesome. Perfect. That's exactly what we'd want you to do. So let me open up your page really quick in an incognito tab. Make sure I'm seeing the most recent version. So I still had to do the question mark no cache to get the CSS to load. And I'm still getting a rich site sol. And it's showing there could be some Nginx cache enabled in WordPress. If you are caching in WordPress as well, I would exclude that. But yeah, I'm still getting non-Ezoic versions, so we can continue to work on this here for a little bit because we have the time to, it seems like. But yeah, it still seems like there's something enabled on your end, caching-wise, that's blocking Ezoic versions and the CSS from loading. Home Run says, I removed some plugins shown by Leap and chose the alternative version, but in Leap, the problem remains. I tried caching, but not working. So if you did remove the plugins, it can actually take our system to pick this up. So if you have fully removed it and it was being flagged, don't worry about that for now. We'll slowly start, our system will pick that up. But that is a really good first avenue if you want to improve site speed, is to actually go into Leap. Just check out the Leap recommendations there, and then just view alternative technologies, and then use those as they do work a lot faster. Or if they're not essential to your setup, you can just remove them entirely. Super Hype 82 says, I have a question. What is required to get invited to a Zoic Premium? So technically there's no requirements, but I would say there are some things you guys can do on your end to entice us to invite you. Some of the things we've talked about is just continually improving your site, writing more content, improving SEO, which will then grow more organic traffic. Growing more organic traffic will help you level up and earn more. The more you level up and earn more, is also going to be correlated with the longer you stay with the Zoic. So improving your site and staying with the Zoic over a longer period of time will kind of entice us to invite you to premium. But I don't think there's like X, Y, and Z requirements. It's more just, you're continuously working on your site, you're improving, you're growing, and that's how we will basically invite you to premium. Daniel, great question. Does Google Web Stories work with the Zoic ads? So no, we cannot monetize web stories currently. The way they're built out and they're served through Google, the engagement never really comes to your actual domain. So I'm not sure if it's built out the similar way AMP pages were. But as you guys know, Google externally cached AMP pages, so the users were never actually engaging with your content. And what that means is that EPMV was little to none entirely. We need to look in furthermore of actually how web stories work. But right now, no, Zoic ads do not work with web stories. Second language, welcome back. He or she says, hello, thank you for the support. My site starts with 1,000 monthly visits, and now I have 10,000. My revenue has not increased much, maybe $1 to $3, sometimes nothing. Any tip for me to improve my revenue? Yes, really good question. And if you are seeing 9,000 more monthly visits without any increase in revenue, there's definitely something that we need to make sure everything, or we definitely need to look into your setup to make sure everything's working right. What it, off the top of my head, what it sounds like is if the visits went up but the revenue didn't, that means a lot of the pages that are seeing more visits are either not showing ads or being flagged with something maybe like objectionable content. I also want you to think potentially where if this is newer traffic, if it's coming from the same source, if it's coming from a different source, it might not be performing or paying out as well. But yeah, there's a lot we can look into there. Second language. I know you've been in here before. I don't remember your domain off the top of my head. If you want to post in the comment section here, we can pull it up and I can actually share my screen and walk you through what I do. I would only say do that if you're comfortable with me doing that, and I can actually share that with everyone, and kind of give you my what it looks like. Yeah, what it looks like when I do it on my end, and I can give you my 2 cents of what I would suggest you change.
Or open a thread and twist. And
Exactly.
we can do that for you.
Yeah, and that way we can actually take our time and look through a bit more in depth and see exactly what the issue is.
Totally.
Super hype. I get about 170,000 visits a month. Currently, I have 165,000 this month and 204,000 in April. I only joined Zoic from Adsense in February. This is a lot of visits. That's awesome. Well done. If you are also comfortable posting your domain name down in the comment section, do that. But if you're not, open up a thread and twist. And right after this, or even right now, if we can find your thread, we'll just basically look into it and see what exactly is up. Because if you've been in here since February and you're seeing that many visits, you should probably be leveled up at least a couple times now, assuming that you've also hit the minimum revenue requirements. Ramil says, "Hi, I have no time to link Zoic on my site. Will someone from the Zoic team assist me? Thanks." Yes, Ramil, we will absolutely. But I will say that we have built out basically the setup process to be very straightforward and easy. You'll basically go to your dashboard and you'll actually see videos and checklists to go through. I know in the back of your head you're thinking that you don't want to sit there and watch the videos and do this, but the way we've built it out is basically you just watch the videos while you set up your site. So it's an interactive video where you basically will have the settings and steps right there below you. So you're not even fully, you're not taking notes and you're not fully just watching the videos only. You're basically going to be watching the videos so it can guide you through the steps to set up. And then once you're done with that, you'll be fully dialed in to show ads. So it's more of just ensuring that you're fully set up. So yes, we can assist you, but we have built it out so you can do it on your end alone.
It's pretty easy.
It's very straightforward.
Either.
Yeah. And you can run into issues with integration depending on your CMS or your host. So if you are experiencing any issues, reach out to us on Twist and we can help you out. And if you're not familiar with Twist, I realize now that we've said Twist 10 to 15 times. But Twist is essentially like a third-party Discord that we run, and it facilitates all the support that we do for this program. So you might be thinking, oh, that's kind of weird. It's not done through the Zoic program, but it's actually so much easier to work with on both of our ends. You get faster responses from us. It's more conversational, so we can work back and forth. It's collaborative, so you guys can work on threads together if you're having the same issues.
And we're in it all day. So.
Yeah, we're in it all day, every day. The weekends we are a bit slower, but we will ramp those things up shortly.
Yes.
That was a bit of a tangent, but but yes, we will absolutely help you out and make sure everything's set up and dialed in. My site unable to reapply monetization. How to reapply it? So if you're not eligible to reapply for monetization, that probably means you've been denied monetization twice, and that means we basically will not be able to offer monetization moving forward. It also depends on the reasons why you were denied. If it was invalid traffic, we'll give you a certain time frame to reapply. If it's scraped content, you can reapply, making sure all the content's original. But if it's download articles and prohibited articles or maybe adult content, we kind of have to cut ties there and draw the line. But if you are curious, if you're denied and you're wondering if you can reapply, go to the monetization tab of your dashboard, and all the insight will be right there. Ramil says, I'm afraid with changing some codes from my domain manager to a Zoic dashboard. If you can basically explain a bit more of when you mean changing some codes from my domain manager, I can basically better explanation to this, maybe exactly how this process works, so that way it can bring you some ease. There's not anything dangerous in moving to the dashboard. We don't, you're still in full control of your site. Yes. You're in full control of DNS, absolutely everything top to bottom. You're still in 100% control. So even though you're using our CDN, it's not like we take over your site. It's still all yours. Everything's available on the dashboard on your end.
And it's really seamless.
It really is. It really, really is. Second language. Please, Charlie, how can I contact you to send you my domain privately? I do not have access to Twist. So, good question. I'm going to put my email down in the comment section and just email me and say, hey, Charlie, I was with you this morning. I didn't want to put my domain name down in the comment section. Just explain the scenario and then email me. I will say, if you guys reach out to me for support, I'm just going to either send you directly to Twist. But yeah, I'll probably just direct you straight to Twist. I won't be able to do any troubleshooting from my email. But if you're sitting there and saying, oh, wait, I think someone else actually asked this question. Tech Timmy says, what is linked to Twist? So Tech Timmy, I just gave you my email. Send me a quick email right now and say, hey, I was in the live stream. I need a link to Twist, or at least I need to make sure that I'm invited to Twist. I can make sure that you are invited, and if not, I'll reissue another invite. But if you guys have fully integrated and you're not into Twist yet, that means an invite has been sent out to your email. So if you want to go into your email, search Twist, and there's probably an invite there for you. But I'm also going to post this article down at the bottom. It kind of gives you an idea of, how to open it, how to post a thread, and kind of what to expect. But that'll be perfect. Oh wait, I think I skipped some. Simadri says, today I have migrated my site to DigitalOcean hosting. After this, new posts are not showing on top. I think the problem with cache, how to deal with cache and purging issues. So you are probably 100% correct. This is most likely something related to cache. But to confirm this, the best and first step to do is load your homepage. And if you're seeing the old posts or the old layout of your old host, add $no cache to the end of the URL, and that will access the page bypassing cache. So if you're saying, oh, I did that and now the new posts are showing, we can then 100% confirm that caching is the issue here and you need to clear it. One thing I'll say is go into DigitalOcean hosting and make sure there's no cache enabled there. Also go into your plugins and make sure there's no caching enabled there. And then from there, you're saying, how can I purge cache? You can actually go into the Zoic dashboard, find the speed tab. Right underneath the speed tab, there'll be a second section for called caching. And then from there, you can just go down and clear cache for a specific URL or the entire domain. So that's how you would clear cache. But yeah, perfect. Super Hype says, I only had the premium question and I'm actually level 3, but wasn't sure about premium. I don't want to take your time from those who need assistance more with access now. Oh, that's okay. I'm happy you're joining us and congrats on the progress. Level 3, that's awesome. If you are finding that maybe these live streams are cool and you're beneficial, we can easily go over to the publisher success team and say, hey, our publishers like these live streams. Maybe yours will too. Michael Rogers says, My site just recently got approved for monetization less than a week ago or so. And I don't have a lot of traffic yet. Just looking for ways to generate, improve the site, traffic, etc. So if you're looking to improve the traffic and grow your site in terms of traffic wise, the best thing to do is to write more high quality content and work on SEO. Improving SEO will increase your rankings. Increasing your rankings will generate more organic traffic from Google. More organic traffic from Google means that you'll basically be seeing more higher paid visitors going to your site because the data points to organic Google traffic basically engaging with your pages the best. So if you're wanting to improve revenue and traffic and level up and everything above, SEO is going to be your best route. Ramil says that's the DNS. So I think he was referring to. Let me check in again really quick. Sorry, this is the last time I'll have to do this. Everyone, I promise. So the DNS. So this is exactly. So Ramil's question previous was that he was concerned with kind of adding everything to the dashboard from his host. But in all reality, is your host will still actually be your host. They'll still be the origin server where the original file of your site lives. So Zoic is just a proxy. We're not actually the host in the actual server from there. So again, I used this before. Let's say I'm visiting Taylor's site. The user request path will go from my computer to Taylor's host through the Ezoic CDN, and then to my page. So the DNS at your host actually will remain the same. Nothing will change there. All you need to do on your end to make sure that everything runs 100% seamless is to make sure that all of the DNS records at your host match exactly, all of the DNS records in a Zoic match exactly what you have on file at your host. So that might be, your A and www record, the IP. You want to make sure the IP is exactly the same as what shows at your host. You want to make sure that all your email records are there. And if you are seeing any records that exist at your host but not at a Zoic, you're going to want to go ahead and just add those. It's a super easy process. You can do it in the settings tab of your dashboard. Excuse me. But I will also drop this link down in the bottom right now so you can actually just see how you can add the DNS records yourself. But again, I understand your concern of how you feel like you're kind of giving away, the DNS to us. But in all reality, everything is still 100% under your control. Your host is still your host. You're just getting access to our CDN. Mohammed says, hello, Charlie. I wanted to inquire about the number of articles required to be accepted into Google. Currently, I have 30 articles archived, of which only 20 are. Is this good for Google approval? Yes. I don't know if there's a minimum I don't think there's a minimum article number you have to have in order to get approval. I think there's a handful of other things that Google looks for initially. They like to make sure that the navigation is really well built out. So you want to have, you want to have a well built out menu that links to all of your articles in an organized manner. So if I was visiting your site and I know you wrote an article, Mohammed, on Italian cuisine, I should be able to easily navigate from the homepage of the homepage of your domain to this Italian cuisine article I found. You also want to include links to your privacy policy and contact us page in the menu, and then from there, let's say you do build out a menu. You want to make sure that under each category of your menu, you have at least 6 or more articles. So let's say, Mohammed, you wrote articles again on Italian cuisine. So one of the menu categories is Italian cuisine. If I were to click Italian cuisine and there's only 2 articles underneath that, Google will actually flag your site for low value content just because there's not enough articles underneath that category. So that's another thing to look for. Also, if you build out a menu and you have all these amazing articles and categories, if you actually have, let's say you have, I'm just going to go off this hypothetical cuisine recipe site. Let's say you have Italian cuisine, and then you also have another one that's like my favorite pasta. If you have any articles that are showing under both categories, then Google will also flag it for low value content. So you want to make sure that each article appears under each category of your menu only once. Excuse me if I butcher your name. Sanchit Chaffel, hopefully I said it okay. Excuse me if I'm wrong. I'm getting a low EPMB. So there's a lot of metrics to look into. While this is a good question, it's really hard to answer without seeing a lot of the data. We want to see your traffic, your content, where your traffic's coming from, the source of your traffic, the length of your content, the quality of your content, the niche of your content. There's a lot we need to look through here. But if you're thinking to yourself right now, well, what can I do to make sure that I'm fully set up and doing really well? You should go to the levels dashboard. And under the levels dashboard, you can actually see all of your optimization opportunities. Thanks, Charlie, of course. We can discuss this more in the thread. There's a lot that we've covered there, and it is pretty individualistic to your setup. That doesn't mean we can't not. But yeah, I know there was a lot that was going on there, and I think it works specifically just how you are using your own hosting service. And honestly, I know we were also working with Tucker a good bit, but Tucker is the massive source of knowledge for how this works, essentially. I was basically going through him to get all the insight I needed, to be 100% honest. So we can try to go into it more, but again, I don't think I'll be able to offer much more insight than what I'd be able to in Twist without actually referring to our tech team to understand exactly how this works. Because it is nice, our tech team does sit 3-4 feet from both of us, so we can just lean over and bother them and ask them questions. But again, let's just continue in Twist on this. But I do want to make sure that we get the rest of your site set up. I know we were working a while on the original one, and then you ended up adding a bunch of others. So I don't want to just ignore this question and move on. I do want to make sure that we attend to this and get all the other domains set up. Static or dynamic, which is perfect for Zoic. Can you explain your question a little bit more? I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for. Christian asks, does Yoast SEO interfere with the Zoic? Will Zoic affect the timing it takes to index rank for new and existing posts? No, Yoast SEO is a great plugin to use with the Zoic. It does not interfere. A lot of publishers, I'm sure a handful of you in here already do use Yoast SEO. But Zoic also will not affect the time it takes to index or rank for new existing posts. If you are seeing errors in your Google Search Console or your newest articles are not being indexed, I would make sure to check you don't have any external caching plugins enabled. Sometimes they can actually cache your sitemap, and then they can't fetch new articles. Another one is sometimes you'll see errors in your Google Search Console, depending on who your host is. Bluehost specifically has been enabling Cloudflare on their end without notifying the publisher. What this actually does is this changes the IP on the Ezoic side, because that's the IP that we end up picking up from Bluehost. So then we're actually fetching content from a Cloudflare IP and not the origin server IP. So that's another thing. But no, Yoast SEO is fine. Will not affect the time it takes to index or rank. Awesome. We're happy you guys like watching this. We love doing this. As much as we don't mind talking behind a computer and Twist to help you guys out and troubleshoot. I think it's nice to break that up at least once a week so you can see that we are real people that care about you all, and we'll do whatever it takes to help. But I did catch up on all the questions for right now. So now that I have a good bit of you in here, I'm going to pin this article and just go over basically what you guys might expect over the next couple weeks starting tomorrow. So if you guys can visit this link, if you guys can visit the link I just pinned right there, it's also in the comment section above. This will basically go over, actually, I can pull it up. This will basically go over the ad revenue index over the period of the year. I know you guys are all probably familiar with the end of the fourth quarter performing really well because ad networks are, ad networks are basically giving a lot of money into their advertising, as in it's a busy time of the year for the economy. So you can kind of expect a correlation between the progress of our economy and the ad index. And as you guys know, tomorrow starts the beginning of quarter two, and annually and quarterly, you see it every single year. At the start of the new quarter, you always see the ad revenue index drop. So if you're going to sit there tomorrow and say, hey, Charlie, I've made no changes, my traffic is consistent, my top landing pages are the same, all my placeholders are there, but my EPMD is actually lower, that's actually going to be just because of the ad revenue index. And I can show you guys this. Last year, and I'll share my screen in a second. I just want to make sure I pull this up first. Where are we at? Like first. Okay, so let me share my screen with you all. Share screen. Boom. Share. Okay, so now you guys can see it. So you guys can actually, so I sent you guys this article, but you can basically use this as a tool to see annually, starting back in 2016, how the ad revenue index might look over the time of the year. If we just want to focus on last year, let's go ahead. Look, so you guys can see Q1 is always really slow, and you can see it slowly start to increase. And then coming into Q2, it continues to increase. But if you guys actually look, so here we are the same time last year, June 30th, you'll see that, the economy's, normally doing better, and advertisers and ad networks are pouring a lot of money into the marketing. And then always at the beginning of Q2, you see this drop. So this is very normal. This is expected year after year. It showed the same in 2020 and prior. But this is kind of the time where a lot of companies and advertisers use, like 2 weeks to basically strategize what the rest of the year will look like. And then you'll see, this usually increases. Of course, this is technically COVID data, so it might not be an exact representation of years prior and before that. But there are a lot of things that come into play here. You'll also see another dip last quarter, and then Q4 really just pops off. And then you can also see how the start of the new year and the first quarter can really take a play on the index and also your EPMB. So if you guys are sitting there saying, "Oh, what the heck? Everything's the same. My revenue's lower," check out this resource and then go from there. Tech Timmy, sorry, I stepped away for a minute. Did I hear you say one category per article? Yes. So Tech Timmy, we were talking about the Google review and what it might look like when you're applying to Ad Manager. Some of the common things we see with really good websites is a denial for low value content. I honestly want to say word choice on Google's end is rather poor here because it's not anything to do with the fact that your quality is low value. It's just the fact that if you have categories of your menu and if you have an article that appears under one category and another, then Google actually flagged that for low value because you're posting the same article in two different categories. So you just want to make sure that if you're being denied by Google for low value content, to go through each category of your menu to make sure that an article appears only one time. And also, you might have missed this as well, but if you also want to go through and check that, you want to make sure that each category has at least 6 articles minimum. That's another reason why you'll see low value content. Bradley says, I hit 20K and $198, just short of level 2, but I had an increase of $30 in Adsense mediation. Will that count to reaching level 2? That is actually a really, really good
That's a
question.
really good question.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I've read this before, if I've seen this before. I don't have a perfect answer for this. I want to say no because the revenue for Ezoic will be paid out through the dashboard. Excuse me, through the Ezoic dashboard, and Adsense mediation earnings will be paid out through Adsense. But at the same time, I also want to say it will be applied. But Bradley, that's a really, really good question. Could you ask that in Levels chat really quick? Can you ask that and that one? We're actually just going to reach out to the Levels team and see exactly how that works and ask if mediation earnings count towards it. We can actually probably search through, if you just go to the Levels dashboard. The Levels channel. Okay. I can look it up
Great
too.
question.
Because it is a good one. Take Timmy says, lol, some of my articles are in 5 categories. Thanks. Can I hire you to review my sites? Yes. Technically signing up to Zoic, you are hiring us to review your sites because we're on the onboarding team. So technically you already hired us. So as you wish, let us know what you want us to do. But yeah, if you have articles in 5 different categories, let's break those down into one individual category. And then just again make sure that they all have a bunch of articles.
Levels and scores.
Yes, levels and scores. I can't even find it. Here Sorry, I'm trying to find this. I'm not trying to ignore you all, but we're asking for you right now. We do have also some time, so I can go through some threads and twists, but also if you guys want me to actually go through your sites firsthand right here, I can do that and share my screen if you guys are comfortable. If you're like, hey, I want to see maybe where I can see more potential earnings. I want to earn more money. Here's my domain name. Feel free to walk through with everyone to see, and I can actually, point out exactly what I look for, and kind of see what changes you want to make from there. I can either look in the data, I can look in your features and settings enabled, I can look at your placeholder setup. But honestly, just let me know from there, and I'd be more than happy to do so.
And Bradley will let you know as soon as we hear back. We posted it.
We did.
That's a great question.
It is. So 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week, someone asked a question about when will we excuse me, can't speak English right now. When will we be able to share videos for others to see? And I basically answered it in the fact that you can only show your own videos. But what they were referring to that I didn't realize, they were referring to our Humix program. And essentially what this is basically a platform where you can post your articles for others to see, but also share. And I think that is actually already available for you all right now. Let me pull that up for you all. Here we go. Here's what the dashboard will basically look like. You guys can check it out there. But yeah, you can basically post, your videos there and use other videos, and those will basically serve through the Zoic platform. I will also say that Zoic has had a really high focus on video. I say this every week, but things are kind of starting to come together more and more. We have a lot more data to point to this, and to kind of point to the successful routes and ways we can serve video ads. But we're also working on a couple features to help you guys produce video content. So if you're not comfortable with doing it on your own, don't worry. We're going to basically build out features and tools to facilitate this for you with the pre-existing content you already have. But if you also are, kind of into that, producing content and making your own video content, I would say keep going at it. And if you've kind of gone on a heyday or kind of stopped on it, I would say continue and pick it back up, because you will see tons of increases in revenue and PMP. Kind of a side spiel, but basically we see the highest performing video ad kind of show up like a bottom sidebar floating. You can either, you can select the CSS and how you want to play the video, but you can select, pre-roll ads, or if you want, the video to start first, you can show an ad in the middle of the video, or if you want your users to see the entire video and then an ad at the end of it, you can also do that. But we basically built out the control to be in the palm of your hands of how you want to deliver and show your video content. I also noticed a ton of you are coming through YouTube. So if you do have your own YouTube channel, feel free to just embed all of your YouTube videos to the Zoic dashboard. And then you can literally just create a video placeholder on any of your pages. You can either select it to that page, to all the pages, and then from there you can literally just select videos to add to that placeholder. And then from there, ads will show pre-rolling your videos. You can also assign them to a directory of pages or all your pages, or you can even you can select a directory of videos to show in one placeholder. So let's say Tech Timmy has a page and he wants to show, let's say it's on Italian cuisine again. Let's say, sorry. Let's say you have 6 videos on pasta and tomato sauce and Alfredo sauce and, the preps and the right ingredients. You can actually select all 5 of those videos to play in that one placeholder, and they can kind of play back to back to back. And you can do that for a handful of pages, or you can just select the specific video to play for that article. So if it is, how to make homemade pasta and you have a video on it, you can select just that video to play there as well. I think I'm hungry. I think that's what it is. Last week, I don't know what my hypothetical site was, but maybe it was cars or whatnot. But yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah. I know we have actually a handful of new faces. We've already introduced ourselves 3 times, but I'm Charlie. This is Taylor. If you guys are new and want to introduce yourselves and say, hey, I'm from here and this is where I'm at, or I'm in the UK and it's nighttime, I'm making dinner, or I'm in Ireland, or I'm in San Diego. Kevin says hello. Hello, Kevin. I'm assuming that's your name. But yeah, we're happy to have you guys. Keep asking questions. We'll keep going at them. Tech Timmy says, it's a summary of video service. I embed videos on my blog posts using Ezoic instead of YouTube, and those videos get monetized using Ezoic ads that show up in the vids. So yes, you're right. So we actually have a good article I can share to here. Do you have the live stream up or no?
No.
Okay. If you go into it, you can probably pull it up. I can just post it, because then it'll go to both YouTube and Facebook. But you're exactly right, Tech Timmy. You'll basically just embed all of your YouTube videos into the video tab of your dashboard in Zoic. So that way we have basically a directory of all of your videos there. And then what you can do from there is just add the video placeholders to the pages. You're going to select which videos you want to show to those pages. And then, yes, you will show ads, pre-roll your own videos, and then you'll basically earn the revenue through the Zoic dashboard. And I think the reason why we really wanted to build this out is something, is extremely vital to you all as publishers. Is I want you guys to think about the effect of playing your own videos on your own domain opposed to YouTube. Let's say, Tech Timmy, let's say hypothetically, I went to your YouTube channel and I saw you had this amazing video on, I'm sorry to say it again, making homemade pasta. And then I was like, wow, that was a really great video. I watched it entirely. I engaged. You got paid out through YouTube. That was awesome. But the way YouTube works is it's going to have a bunch of recommended videos right below that are going to be really related to probably what I want to see. and 99% of them, or a lot of them, probably will not be under your own YouTube channel. So the beauty of adding the videos to your own domain is the fact that you'll basically be able to pull the visitor to your domain, and then from there they'll see all your content. They might see a related article and go to another page. They might see another related article and go to another page. So now you could be 6 page views in for one visitor. Your EPMB will be, significant. You'll also see a lot more revenue with higher page views. So you want to think about controlling, the request path and where the user goes of adding videos to your own site. So it kind of creates, you kind of in control of where the user will go from there. Not entirely, but you can entice them, of course. Kevin says from PA, big part of the E3P, big fan of Ezoic. Awesome. Love to hear that. I'm actually from Maryland, so I'm very familiar with Pennsylvania. We have a lot of family there. We did a lot of skiing on the little hills there. They have little hills there.
I hear the fall's beautiful.
Yes, fall in Pennsylvania and on the East Coast, I think, unbiasedly is the best time of year.
We don't have fall here.
No
it's
fall.
Summer and then Christmas.
Yeah, it's summer and then cooler summer and then summer again.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us, Kevin. Feel free to ask anything you want. Like Timmy says, so only downside of using Ezoic to show videos is I lose time on YouTube watch time. Well, yes, but Timmy, you're not really directing traffic from YouTube away from YouTube. You can still have your videos on YouTube, so that way all your visitors and maybe all your followers will still be able to see those videos there. But you can now have them also on your domain through Zoic. So then essentially you can control where your user might go from there. So that's also why it's important to think about this when you're building out new articles in your pages. You might say, okay, I don't have anything in the sidebar, but what would be my most effective content to add there? Well, what we see a lot of other users do, and that works really well, is you can basically create a related article section, or a most recent post article. So that way you can entice users to go from your Italian cuisine to another Italian cuisine article. But yeah, you're basically controlling where the user is and how they might interact with the next click.
What was the article you want to send?
Oh, getting started with the Zoic video player.
Yes.
Yeah, so got it. I think I'll do a mix of YouTube and Ezoic. Thanks so much. Of course. Could you clarify exactly what you mean of just a mix? That's totally fine. If you don't want to add all of your YouTube videos to Ezoic, that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that I fully understand you here. Great question, Kevin. I was late. Is there any videos you noticed that perform the best? For example, words on screen, product demos, or just regular videos? Good question. I think this can kind of be answered. It might actually be difficult to answer without specifics. I want you to think about even, the type of content you might write for a certain niche might affect, in another way. I understand. Okay. I for some reason, well, I'll answer that next. We have a lot of data on the location of videos and how they are showing on the screen and how they interact with the user, so that users actually best engaged with the videos. But I don't think we can technically build out the causation of that. I don't think, scientifically that would make sense. But I would say just regular videos probably, but we also say that videos opposed to not having videos is best. There's definitely data to point to that. So I know you said you were late. I did talk a bit earlier, if you're not super inclined with making your own videos, we're basically building out features to help you produce videos with the content you already have right now. So I think a majority of that might actually be words on screen, and kind of from there and down the road, we might have a better idea of what types of videos perform best. But I think that's a really good question. And I think that's also the appropriate question to ask right now as we focus on video content. But I would say from my subjective point of view that if the video was original or regular as you created or a product demo, um, basically the more correlated it is with the article, then the more enticed I would be to watch it entirely, and the better it would be in terms of performance. But also when you say perform the best, I think from an ad standpoint, you want to think about how the ad will actually play either pre-roll, mid-roll, or post-roll. Um, Sorry, I keep on reading questions and losing my train of thought. It's a terrible practice. But yeah, we basically want to think on our end that how the user will basically view the ads on your videos. So that's why we've been messing around with a bunch of different layouts and everything. But we will primarily say the data we have right now is that pre-roll ads obviously perform the best in terms of earning revenue. Engagement wise, it might be best to post-roll the video, to post-roll the ads. But Kevin Stats, since you're coming from YouTube, I'm going to make an assumption that you have some really good original videos. If you're really confident in those videos and ensure that your users will basically watch all of the videos because they are very relevant. If you want to upkeep user experience, I would probably suggest doing mid-roll. But if you're okay with pre-rolling ads, showing ads before the video, I would just say run it that way. But Kevin Stats, you are exactly right. It looks like this is exactly what Timmy was trying to get at. I'm not yet monetized with YouTube, so I'm trying to get to the 4,000 hours or watch time. My understanding is that peeps watch my videos and my blog posts that counts towards YouTube watch time. That's a good question. I can go ask the video team after this exactly how that works. I actually didn't know there was a 4,000 hours. I know Zoic, I know YouTube had more kind of strict monetization requirements within the past couple of recent years. But my understanding was that even the smaller side of sites or accounts can actually monetize. So I can actually ask this for you because that would be cool if it did count towards it. Off the top of my head, based on the way we actually collect data, I do not think that videos watched through YouTube on your domain will count towards your YouTube hours.
That's a good question.
But that is not a solidified answer. That's going to be my assumption based on the way we collect our data. Awesome. Kevin Stat says, I'm the opposite. I do videos a lot, so considering doing lots of videos for Humix to earn extra. Yes, great idea. Humix will be huge moving forward. It's still, I wouldn't say quite so much a beta program, but it's definitely on the earlier side of things. We haven't even really marketed it that much well, so I think once more are on board with the same thought process as you are, Kevin, then that's when things will kind of really take off. But I would also say getting on top of it now will help you earn extra for sure. Okay, yeah. If you guys are curious, can you remind me to ask? Yeah, I would just like that to them, but that'd be great.
We will ask that video question right now and get back to you as soon as we hear something.
Exactly. And if answer is no, then I would use Zoic only. So yeah. I mean, ideally, I want to say that would be great because you will be earning through those ads. But I think from an objective standpoint, not from an Ezoic driving business standpoint, I would also encourage you to also post them on your YouTube and kind of continue to drive traffic there because you might see, your 1,000 subs as a limiter or kind of, ground zero. But Tech Timmy, as you know, I'm sure you can put in the effort. You guys are really smart being in this program to actually grow your YouTube pages. So I don't want you to cut yourself short on the YouTube side of things. I personally think you could easily get to 5,000 subs with enough consistency and production of content. So I don't want to say, cut yourself short with YouTube because I want you guys to do best in every avenue, including Zoic. But Kevin says, I do believe the embedded watch time does count towards YouTube monetization. So again, that could be exactly right.
We'll let you know as soon as we find out.
Exactly. But those are good questions. And if you guys have more about videos, then I'll do my best to answer them. And if not, I can facilitate the answers and post them into Twist. But Tech Timmy, I know you got my email for Twist. Kevin Stats, I just wanted to make sure that you're also in Twist. Twist is basically where we run primarily our support. It is actually where we run all of our support. So if you're not in there, Kevin, I just want to make sure that you actually do have access to Twist in case you do want to ask questions, and we can basically go from there. Or if anyone else listening is saying, "Oh, I'm not into Twist. How do I get into Twist? What is Twist?" Please just comment down below. I can give you my email again. Just reach out to me on my email, and I'll just basically facilitate the invite and make sure that you're in there. Okay. Kevin says you can still embed the video and autoplay as Zoic. That way, if they want to go to YouTube, they can. So you're right. You're exactly right. Awesome. I love the collaboration between you two right now. This is a great focus for us. It looks like we could potentially be getting an answer for.
We did just get the answer.
Oh, for the YouTube?
Yes, it says for those YouTube videos replaced by Zoic-related, it does not count for YouTube watch time.
Okay, so it does not, unfortunately. And I'm assuming the way that works, I'm not sure exactly how YouTube tracks their data, but I think if the request path going to Kevin's site went from the origin server through our CDN, the CDN is then where we're going to be able to track the data. So I don't think YouTube will be able to track that on their end, as we are kind of like we are using AWS in our CDN. But unfortunately, to answer your question, it does not count towards your YouTube playtime. Autoplay, I'm assuming is just exactly what it sounds like, is to basically automatically start and play the videos. And to answer you guys' previous question about the mediation earnings, who asked that prior? Oh, Bradley. Hopefully you're still with us. Hopefully you haven't left. But the answer is you should apply to level 2. And you can actually add a comment section in the application. And basically what Jeff, the head of our public source success team, who actually facilitates all these level ups, basically said, add a note in the application about your mediation earnings. And he said, but yeah, you will hit and qualify for level 2. So
exciting.
Hopefully you're still there with us. Okay. Okay, awesome. So not hosted by YouTube will not count, correct? And so Tech Timmy, yeah, if you want to grow both, I think that's a great idea. I'm not sure how closely correlated your domain is with your YouTube account. If it covers all the same content, then I still think adding half the content is okay. But if your YouTube covers a wide range of topics or niches, then I would say maybe embed all the videos that are linked or correlated with your Ezoic domain, and then just focus on your YouTube videos with the other ones. Graham says, I'm having problems integrating using the plugin due to having WP Rocket. So part of the Access Now program is you cannot integrate using the plugin. You have to integrate via name servers or Cloudflare. You might see this as a limitation, but honestly, it's just the golden avenue and the golden blanket to success. The reason we do this we make it a requirement for the smaller sites is you get much more accurate server-side data. You get access to many more features that the plugin does not, but that basically includes everything via our CDN. Like IntelliProtect, Cloudflare, access to AWS, again, server-side data, more accurate leap recording. So yeah, we only do integration via name servers or Cloudflare, but that is actually only a direct benefit to you guys. It's purely the fact that plugin's not as seamless and as efficient or fast. So that's basically why we require name server integration. But you can actually use WP Rocket. WP Rocket is a caching plugin that is fully compatible with the Zoic. However, WP Rocket features, all of the features that are offered there are also available in the caching app through Ezoic under the speed tab. So to ensure that there are no conflictions or issues, I would say get rid of WP Rocket and use Ezoic's caching. And then I would basically just go through and make sure that your cache is optimized. We have a handful of articles on this. We can also help you do this. But the way we just want to make sure that you're optimized right as you enable it. So that way we can help build the cache hit rate immediately. And then from there, we won't really have much of a hindrance on site speed. Kevin says, how I do it is, he goes from YouTube, embed, Zoic, video player. Then I have both. Brilliant. That's actually great advice. Yeah, that's really good advice. Mohammed says, is one can move from Ezoic Access Now to Ezoic Premium? If yes, what's the requirements? I did answer this previously, but I'm more than happy to go through it again. So yes, you can move from Ezoic Access Now to Premium. You can actually be an Access Now member and have and be a Premium member. Essentially, there's not X, Y, and Z explicit requirements. It's more the fact if you've like a longevity factor. If you've been with Ezoic, if you've continually improved your site, writing more content, improving SEO, EPMV metrics have gone up. Once you kind of see that steady progress with the Zoic, that's kind of when you might entice our premium team to invite you to our premium network. So there's not like do this and you get the invite. It's more, how do you entice us to invite you to premium? But I will say just continuing to improve your site is the best way to do this. Tech Timmy says, what would be a good baseline number of articles and categories for Zoic monetization of a new site? Oof, kind of a hard question, but I would say, let's say 25 articles, minimum 700 words per article, and maybe like 2 or 3 categories in your menu with like 6 articles in each. So if there was 3 articles, 6 articles in each, you'd have like 18 to 20 articles in total. I think that would be like kind of a good baseline. But then again, if you have a site that is even way smaller and you don't think would even apply or meet the requirements for monetization yet, you can actually still integrate the site and use all of the amazing features that Zoic has to offer in the CDN. And then when you're basically ready to be monetized, you can basically reach out and say, hey, Charlie, this is Tech Timmy. I talked to you a while ago. I had a site and I had a smaller site. I added this smaller site months ago, and basically since it was brand new, it didn't get approved. But I've since made improvements and changes. Can you please check out the site again and see if it's eligible for monetization? And I'll be more than happy to go through and say, yep, I can see it was tiny when you added it months ago, which is why maybe it was denied for being too small. But we'll be more than happy just to reignite the review and then double check it. Alzo says Adsense mediation shows linked, but shows no revenue. We had removed Adsense ads related code. Do Zoic placeholders show Adsense ads as well, or do we have to put back Adsense ads related code back? Great question. So if your mediation is linked, but there is no revenue yet through mediation, all this means is that Zoic partners are outbidding Adsense partners for your inventory. Once Adsense partners outbid Zoic partners for your ad spots, through programmatic bidding, that's when the mediation earnings will show. And kind of another question I'll just throw out and answer myself is that mediation earnings will be paid out through Adsense. But to also answer the second part of your question, yes, Zoic placeholders will show the Adsense ads when Adsense outbids Zoic. So you do not need to add the Adsense code back. It is not needed. Mediation and everything will take place within the Ezoic placeholders. But then again, the mediation earnings through Adsense will be paid out through Adsense. Owlzo then goes on and says, basically, we have not seen any revenue mediation so far. Maybe we were missing some setting. We have Zoic on 100% setting. Do we have to change that? No. Leaving 100% on a Zoic is fine. It will not do anything in terms of mediation. Again, all that means is that Zoic partners are outbidding your Adsense partners. But Owlzo, if you are saying, I hope I have everything set up, I really, I want to make sure everything's dialed in. What you can do is reach out to us in Twist, and we can just make sure that your mediation has been linked correctly and everything there is set up fine. But by the sounds of it, it is. It's just Zoic partners are outbidding. Mohammed says, one more thing. How much time will Ad Manager take to review the domain to be approved or rejected? Any idea? Thanks for the previous answer. So, kind of to take one small step back, when you apply through the Connect to Google step through Zoic, Ad Manager will have 2 reviews in total. The first will be on your account, and then the second will be on your domain. The domain reviews can take up to 2 weeks. It can take sometimes a little of 15 minutes to 20 minutes. But sorry, I got sidetracked. The domain review can take up to 10 days or to 2 weeks, excuse me. But it's usually done far sooner than that. Sometimes we see a little bit of delay if there's a lot of backlog, which there is not right now, so you should not expect that at all. Recently, India and a handful of other countries had bank holidays, so they had like extra long weekends. So like 2 weeks back, we did see a little bit of a backlog.
By a couple days.
But by a couple days, but by now they've kind of caught up and everything's fine. So you should expect a review, I'll say on average within 2-3 days, ballpark. Sometimes 20 minutes, again, sometimes a week, but roughly 2 to 3 days.
And we have a holiday coming up on Monday.
Right. So we do have the 4th of July on Monday. So you guys might see a little bit slower responses on the support side.
By one day, yeah.
Only in the US hours.
Yep.
So if you do have a question and you want to answer on the 4th of July, I would maybe say ask it the day prior. And that way our UK team and our team located on the Eastern side can actually answer that.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be off that's on Monday, correct?
Just us.
Just us, yeah. So, but the rest of our team will still be on.
Yeah.
I have views on my videos, but no earning. I'll want to make sure. I basically want to recreate this issue on my end to make sure that I see the video playing, and also that ads are playing. And then I can actually go into the data. So Aziz, you can actually go into the analytics tab of your dashboard. There's a video section there. You can go in there and see basically all the data and all the metrics that your videos are doing. So it could just be the fact that there might not be a lot of visits seeing the actual videos, which is why you're not seeing any earnings. Tech Timmy says, that is exactly my situation with my 2 smaller sites. Applied and denied because of lack of content. Time to get writing. Okay. Then yeah. And so yeah, exactly. And on our end, like even if the monetization tab says like, oh, not enough content, you can't reapply, we're very understanding people. Like, so if your site was brand new and it got denied for like lack of content through Zoic, you can just reach out to us and say, hey, Charlie, I signed up my tiny site. It wasn't ready. Now it's bigger. Now it's ready. Can you please re-review? And we won't be like, no, or we won't do that. Like, right. That just makes no sense. We'll be more than happy to take a second look and make sure that you get the fair chance that those domains deserve.
Yeah.
Kevin Stats says, I had the issue. I didn't get any money for mediation. I had to go to Google AdSense to make sure the site was approved. Okay. Kevin Stats, great insight. And after Okay, so never mind. It sounds like Adsense denied your domain, which we can talk about in a second, which is very weird. Why did suddenly ads stop showing on my site? Mark, I won't be able to answer this without basically checking out your account. If you're comfortable with throwing your domain down in the comment section, do that, and I can check for you right away. If you don't want to do that, please go into Twist right now and say, hey, Charlie, my name's Mark. I was with you this morning. Ads stopped showing all of a sudden. What the heck's going on? But Mark, if I were you, I would go to the monetization tab of your dashboard. Make sure the ad tester is turned on. You have a ton of placeholders. Make sure that you are approved through Zoic, which it sounds like you were since ads were showing. But also make sure that your ads.txt is still set up. Sometimes if you make changes there and ads.txt needs to be recrawled, sometimes ads will stop being served until Google recrawls this page, which is usually done about 2 to 3 times a day. So it might take maybe like an hour or 2 to 3 hours. But there's a lot of things that can go into why ads stop showing. So it's best if you open up a thread in Twist or write your domain name down in the comment section, and I can quickly take a look. As he says in one of my videos, or sorry, excuse me, on one of my websites, it generates about 400 views, but generates less than $1. So again, there's a ton of metrics we actually want to look into here: source of traffic, country of traffic, time of engagement, the type of content you write, the niche of your content, the length of your content. There's a lot we want to look into here to make sure that everything's set up. So again, is these. Please go into Twist, and this is something that we can really take a deep kind of dive into and looking to see kind of what exactly the issue could be. But yeah, 400 views, less than $1. That can make a lot of sense depending on the metrics and everything, but this could be a huge issue, or just as a simple fix from our end. But most likely, let's say you had 400 views with AdSense and you're generating $3, and now you have 400 views with the Zoic and you're generating less than $1. I can confidently say that there's a 100% chance that there's something not properly set up with the Zoic, which is why you're not seeing the earnings. You'll never see that low of an earnings if you're earning more somewhere else. That's just not the way it works. I will also say, keep in mind that if you are brand new with the Zoic, it does take our AI time to learn your site and your users. So the BNB you see on the first 2-3 weeks is not indicative of the progress and potential you could see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road. It is a process, and our AI only uses real user data to test your pages. So the more data, the more time, the more accurate it'll get, the higher earnings will be. Does Zoic work with Cloudflare Enterprise? Yes, we are a Cloudflare partner, unless I don't fully understand what Cloudflare Enterprise is.
Same, right?
Yeah. Cloudflare's Enterprise plan provides our most advanced tool support and reporting for rapidly growing to globally established. So it looks like actually everything. So it looks actually like everything that's going to be available here is already available through the Ezoic dashboard and is already available through Cloudflare through Zoic. So I'm not sure what exactly you wanted to use with Cloudflare Enterprise Boom, but I can actually just point you in the right direction in the Ezoic dashboard where this probably already exists, because I'm not seeing anything here. Sorry. So yeah, everything that I'm seeing right now is already available through Zoic and our CDN and Cloudflare. Yeah. So I'm not seeing anything here that they will not be able to do through us. Yeah, we already have free SSL. We offer free SSL. You already have free access to our CDN. No limits in terms of views. Network acceleration, everything there is already offered. Protection services, and that's actually in the advanced section of Cloudflare Enterprise. So everything offered in the premium version of that is already for free through this program. I really cannot say how. Oh, geez, can you kick them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That was I don't know. I blocked that user. Sorry, I should have caught that earlier, but sorry about that. Um, yeah, Adsense is weird. I got Adsense denied, but yet Google approved my sites for Zoic. So that is very odd, to be honest. What we normally see is publishers get denied for Ad Manager through a Zoic, which is the Google side of things, and then get approved for AdSense, which makes no sense. On the flip side of this, Kevin, that is very weird. Normally we see the opposite. But anyway, if you're approved for Ad Manager and a Zoic, you can still serve ads um, through a Zoic. But now thinking about this, Kevin, this is actually the exact reason why you're not earning any are not seeing any earnings through mediation. Because if you're not approved to show ads through AdSense, then AdSense mediation will not be able to work. Simply because AdSense hasn't approved your site yet. Sorry, I was going off on a tangent. I was thinking in the back of my head how that person got in there, was throwing ridiculous comments. But yeah, if you're not seeing mediation earnings and you're not approved for AdSense, that's going to be exactly why. Owlzo says, are levels evaluated on 30 days look back or monthly wise? For example, we have 127,000 visits since we started. We started on the 9th of June, i.e. 20 days ago. We'll counter stop today and restart on July 1st. Taylor, you want to take this one?
The counter stop today. It's based on the calendar month, not 30 days continuous.
Exactly.
So all of June, from June 1st to 30th, is going to count as one.
Right. So if you're in access now, right now, Owlzo with 127,000 visits, and you've also met the minimum revenue requirements to go from access now to level 1, which I think is $100, you will automatically be leveled up. But if you are in level 1 and you are going to be going to level 2 when you meet the requirements, you need to apply to get to level 2.
Right.
But not to go off on a tangent, the counter will stop today and restart on July 1st. And you'll have to go from July 1st to July 31st to meet the requirements for the next
for August.
Exactly. Boom Boom says, I'm using Cloudways and Cloudflare Enterprise. I'm having issue logging into my WordPress dashboard after changing my DNS to Ezoic. So this could be something you have enabled either at your host or through a plugin. It's usually some security features, and if you're using Cloudflare Enterprise, that should be fine. But if Cloudways is your host, I would make sure that there's no security features enabled on their end, because we do see this sometimes, and it always comes from, sometimes mod security, sometimes a handful of other bot protection services. But essentially, I would try disabling those and then try logging into your WordPress dashboard again. But again, Boom Boom, if you cannot figure this out, please go into Twist and we can get this figured out for you rather quickly. That does not take very long at all, but we can definitely help you out. Aziz says, Zoic approved one of my websites, but Google Ad Manager kept rejecting my domain. I thought Zoic and AdSense operates on the same standard. So I know this is very confusing, and technically we do. However, the review processes from Ezoic and AdSense and Ad Manager are not the same. So while our policies are the same and they are very closely related, they are not the same exact process. Sports, I'm happy you're with us. Hello, you're the best. You're all the best. But I agree, some people don't have respect. That was a first and hopefully a last. Gaz, hello. Hey guys, just got home from work again in the UK. Happy you made it through Thursday. Again, you're one day away from Friday. We're happy to have you. We've talked about a lot, but we're more than happy to go through anything else you want us to go through, guys. I know I have an email to respond to you as well, but please, guys, ask away. We'll go through it a second, third, fourth time if you want us to. Also, yes, we are level 1. Let's hope we get to level 2. We need to restart it, guys. Well, Aldo, if you hit the requirements for level 1 within 9 days of the month, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter as long as you hit the requirements within the month.
You just have to wait until
then you'll be
the end of the month before you.
But if you're really close at the same time, I would just say apply regardless. Again, I don't see your metrics because I don't have your site pulled up, but I will say just apply and see what goes from there. Guy says, do you earn more from ads after going up a level? So no, you don't. The ad networks and things will basically be the same, but when you go from certain levels, you do get a boost. I don't know exactly how this boost works and how it goes, but yes, we do basically give you, I know I just kind of contradicted myself, but the ad revenue index will basically remain the same, but we do give you a slight bit boost going from like levels 2 to 3 and beyond, I believe. But then you will earn more when you're a premium publisher because you do get access to the premium ad networks. So that's when you will get paid out more. But then again, I would just say continue focusing on improving and leveling up and getting those boosts. Ruth says, hello, just got home from work. Now I need to eat and immediately work on my websites. So draining, but so worth it in the end. Yes. It is so worth it, and it definitely is a ton of work. I honestly want to say kudos to you from working, getting home, eating, to basically working. I hope you don't see your domain and kind of blogging as much of a job as it does a hobby, or maybe just an interest. But regardless, we're here to help. We're here to do whatever you need for you to help facilitate that process. Ronnie says, is there any way that I can stop unauthentic / suspicious ads click? I mean, yes, but at the same time, no, I want to say. Oh, I see you're joining from both Facebook and YouTube, Ronnie. I think from your end, the best thing you can do is to work on SEO and getting more organic traffic. Users from Google that come from Google Search Console are probably going to be your highest quality visitors, and they're going to be ones that are engaging with your content and not just maliciously clicking on ads and going from page to page and leaving. It's more when you start buying traffic and promoting your traffic through kind of like suspicious programs or kind of bad resources. That's when you see the clicks kind of go up. So I would say the best thing you can do is just to keep working on SEO, writing new content, and getting organic traffic through Google. You can, I mean, in terms of security wise, you already have it all enabled on your setup already through IntelliProtect and Bot Protect and through Cloudflare. So you have the security you need to stop bots from basically accessing your site. But if you're promoting your site through programs where you're enticing users, just click on ads and drive up revenue, that's when you might see a disablement. Alzo says, yes, we are $250 since June 9th, and level 2 says $300 required for new users. So I guess July it is. Okay, yeah. And Alzo, you're not the one that wrote in earlier about the mediation earnings. Oh, no, that was Bradley.
Yes.
Bradley.
I think we responded.
We did, yeah. So Alzo, it does sound like July will be your month. Taylor taught me a trick. July has 31 days in the month, so you do have that extra day to earn in case you need it. But if you keep going on with this progress, I think I'm very confident you'll hit level 2 in the month of July. Ronnie, I answered this, but it's cool to see you're using both Facebook and YouTube to come in here. but you also added in this question, or does the Zoic have any features that can filter suspicious clicks to help save? So we can't facilitate or filter the clicks. We can more facilitate and filter the traffic that gets to your pages, because once a user's already on their page, there's no really technical way to be like, you can't click on this ad. If ads are being served, then in our eyes, that's technically be to a real user. So I would more just focus on driving, traffic from the right places. What can help if you bump me? Oh, it's just a quick bump up for a couple levels. We'll just get you to the premium and just get you there. No, I'm kidding. Well done, Rod. Well done, Road. Me too. At least my site analytics are all in green. Oh, well done. That's awesome. I think you were referring to Leap, correct? So yeah, core web vitals are huge. If you guys are, if you want to increase your rankings and whatnot, this is kind of something I can also go off on a bit of a tangent. But Rude, I'm assuming is talking about his core web vitals under the speed tab of his dashboard. These are actually linked and correlated with the new ranking criteria with Google. So if you are seeing really poor core web vitals and you want to improve your SEO, of course, do keyword search, write more content, and do all those things, but also improve your core web vitals because they will help with your rankings. So, and then also it'll improve rankings, but also it's going to improve your site speed. So it's a win-win, 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 win. Win-win, win-win, win. Alizo says one more question. We clicked I'm interested in premium option. How often do level 1 users get invited to premium? Are you out of here?
I'm not here. I'll be back.
Everyone say, oh, you are, okay. I'm interested in premium option. How often? So I don't know the frequency or the percentage or the ratio of level 1 users getting invited to premium, but it happens and it can be done and has been done. So I wouldn't say there's no potential, but I can't give you a specific, this is the rate or this is the frequency at which level 1 publishers get invited to premium. Oh wait, I forgot to go off on my mini tangent about the core web vitals. A question we see a ton, which is a very valid question from your guys' end, is that let's say you move over to Ezoic, you enable Leap, you move away from WP Rocket, all of a sudden you guys say, oh no, now my page speed scores are failing. They were 90 before and now they're 50. So page speed scores go off old metrics that are not relevant. Page speed also goes off lab data, which basically means like an artificial scan of your site to analyze speed, which are two major hindrances to it. They're also linked with other things like WP Rocket. Anyway, you really want to focus on Leap because they actually use real user data through server-side analytics, and they also use relevant, I keep on using the same words. It also uses relevant criteria to analyze your site speed for rankings. Kind of just lost my train of thought there, but it is a very valid question, but moving away from page speed and seeing a poor score in page speed is fine. It's not the end of the world. Just focus on Leap and setting up in there. To add to that, if you just switch to Leap and you're seeing your metrics not that great, please remember that we use real user data. And so it does take some time for Leap to basically optimize and calculate the data, analyze it accurately to show it green. I'm sure guys can attest to that. He says, yep, it might not have been perfect at the beginning, but you can basically see over time the time of the loading time and the site speed goes down and gets faster. Mohammed has another question. It says, is it necessary to set a minimum of 10 placeholders? I only set up 2 at the moment because I'm waiting for a Google domain approval. Yes, it is necessary to set a minimum of 10 placeholders, but I would even say 10 placeholders is on the very, very low end of things. I would say 70 placeholders is good. I wouldn't even say 15 is enough. I wouldn't even really want to say 20 is enough. But we have 10 as a minimum just to ensure that you're not, shooting yourself in the foot. I want you guys to remember how placeholders work. placeholders are not fixed ad locations, they are potential ad locations. So the more placeholders you have set up is, the more variations or variables our AI can test. The more variables our AI can test, the better the user experience will be. And then the better the user experience will be, the more earnings and engagement you'll see. So it really is kind of a chain effect. But adding more placeholders is, correlated with better user engagement over time. That's basically how it works. So if you're limiting our AI to 10 placeholders in total, you're kind of limiting the ability and the learning that our AI can actually do. It is okay you only have 2 at the moment because Google's still reviewing your domain, but I would highly, highly, highly suggest you, Mohammed, to do what I tell many others is, even though you're waiting for the review, go to your top 4 or 5 landing pages and make sure that each page is full of placeholders top to bottom, so it's super dense, but you also have a high variety of different placeholders. So you want top of the page, bottom of the page, native ads, sidebar floating, bottom of the page floating, mid content, top of content. You basically want to make sure that you have placeholders littered all over your pages. Okay, maybe not littered, that was a little bit too aggressive, but any potential ad location, add a placeholder. It does not mean more ads will show again. I just want to clarify that. But adding more placeholders will help your site perform well over time. We do have a really cool article I can send you guys. I don't remember what it's called, but it basically goes over some of the data. If you have if you have 10,000 page views a month or 10,000 visits a month, it kind of breaks down the math of, if you have 10 placeholders, you can see, 15,000 variations. But if you have 20 placeholders, you can see, a million different variations. I'm trying to remember the article. But essentially, yeah, I can't find the article right now, but I will dig it up for you guys and post it into Twist later. But yeah, more placeholders, the better. The more placeholders, the better. I'll be a broken record about it all day, but it is very important. Well done, guys. That's awesome. I love how you guys love seeing them in green. I love seeing them in green. Google loves seeing them in green as well, so we all love it. John says, when are you guys introducing the options to upload intermediate certificates? Great question, Rainbow. I'm not sure if I honestly know the answer to this. If you want to clarify exactly what these intermediate certificates are, I'm not sure if you're referring to our referral program, options to upload intermediate certificates. But yeah, sorry, if I don't just understand or follow your question, maybe some more insight, I can give you a better answer. Guys, I'll tell you, I do have enough coffee. I also have it in my favorite mug. It's this little guy holding flowers. He's like a little spider with the spider web on his head. A little off topic, but skateboard company. Very off topic, but I do have a lot of coffee. Is there a limitation on how many articles I can publish on my site a day? Absolutely not, Mark. The world is your oyster. We will never set limitations to publishers like that. Or not even like that. We will not set any limitations to publishers. I think Zoic is quite literally the opposite of setting limitations at all. If anything, they want to break every limitation. I brought this up in the past, but our CEO, CTO, and everyone has basically advocated that everything remains free and at the fingertips of the publishers. So, Mark, if you're willing to publish 10 articles a day, then you can. There's no limitation of any sort. Rasika says, oh, sorry, Roski. Roski, welcome back. I know we talked about my favorite skateboarder named Oski, but anyway, off topic. That's the second time I've talked about skateboarding since you left.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Sadly, Ezoic rejected my brand new site. They mentioned they rejected my site because of invalid traffic. I wonder how, because my site is brand new and I have almost 0 traffic. Now I have to wait 6 months. So Roski, we kind of touched on this earlier, but if your site is brand new, and let's say it's been on for 100 days, or let's say it's been on for 100 days and you're seeing 5 visits a day. So you're only at 500 visits over 3 months. And I bet you a lot of these visits are probably yourself, or maybe just like a few others. And what this means is that your own data can actually skew, your own visits can actually skew the data pretty heavily. So we'll be more than happy to go in and say, oh, clearly you didn't send a bunch of invalid traffic. You know, your site was just brand new. And so a couple random visits just skewed the data super heavily. So we'll be more than happy to go back through and be like, oh, actually the organic visits are legit. Everything looks good. We can re-review your we can re-review your site. So yeah, we will not just like tell you to turn away and whatever. If your site is brand new, just reach out and say, hey Charlie, this is Roski. My site was really small when I signed up. It now has a little bit more. It's gained a little bit more ground. Can you please check it out so I don't have to wait the 6 months? And we'll be happy to do so. But then again, if we do see that there was a huge spike in traffic and it was all invalid and really low quality, we might say the opposite. But again, if there's little visits, reach out. We can help out. I have added 2 kitchen niche sites. In which category Zoic has more premium and relevant ads for publisher? Because in my kitchen niche sites, I didn't see very relevant ads. I think I understand your question, but to start off at the beginning, the ads so I'm actually just gonna answer this all in one. The ads being served to the user are not relevant to the content on your site. Oh no. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep talking. I'm not sure why the camera just did that. Essentially, the ads you see will be specific to the user, not to the content on the page. So I, for instance, do a lot of car shopping. So if I'm on your kitchen site, I probably will still see car ads that has nothing to do with your content. It's more going to be the ad network seeing, where I come from and, maybe the cookies present on my screen and say, oh, Charlie looks at cars all day. Let's give him car ads. So it's nothing to do with the content on your page again.
And this is more beneficial for you.
Oh, much more beneficial.
You're seeing ads that the user would actually be interested in versus what's applicable to maybe your content or your site.
Right. So yeah, she's exactly right. And also entice more clicks if they're relevant.
Right. Because if I saw car ads, I probably wouldn't click them.
Yeah, probably.
But if I saw something for pizza, or I don't know, I'd click that maybe.
I would definitely click something for pizza.
Or coffee. Something about coffee, that would definitely be.
I think we're all on the same page on that one.
I actually have clicked some coffee ads before.
Oh, really?
Like coffee here. Mm-hmm.
Those are great.
Yeah.
John Rambo, I'm going to highlight your old question. He says, when are you guys introducing the option to upload intermediate certificates? And I was confused, but he says through the SSL app. So if you could tell me more about the function of how you'd use an intermediate certificate, I'll be more than happy to bring that up to the team and say, hey, we had a publisher ask this question. It would be beneficial to a site for X, Y, and Z reasons. And we can kind of do that. Adrian, welcome. Sorry for being late, but busy week. Busy week's not a bad thing. Hopefully that's a good busy. Regardless, we're happy to have you. Nice mug, Charlie. I have one with an owl on it. Owlzo, I think I would have expected that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We kind of got a really nice owl theme going. We love it. Owls are awesome. Owls are also low-key kind of scary. 30 seconds, I'm going to crawl under the desk.
Charlie's looking in how to fix the camera issue.
I don't think I did.
I don't think anything got unplugged. I see the camera light is on, it's just kind of scanning. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Something was kind of unplugged, but I just plugged it back in. Okay, anyway, let's move on. What do we add? Let me see if I. What the heck? Sorry guys, I don't know why the video stopped working, but regardless, I guess you already saw my mug. I'm talking about the SSL app. There is no option to upload any SSL root certificate. I've already created an issue in Twist, but I kept getting comments saying I need to contact Digicert for some reason. So depending on the way Digicert uses their certificates, yeah, I'll probably have to do honestly I'll probably have to do research on exactly how Digicert uses this. But again, if we're working through it with Twist, we will do our best to help and all. But essentially, if they're serving, secure versions of your site, but yeah, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. But essentially, we're gonna have to basically look to see exactly how this works on their end, and basically make sure it's configured on our end correctly. I will say that Zoic does offer free SSL, so if you're using them for X, Y, and Z reasons, or it's paid or it's not paid, Zoic is free. It auto updates. You'll never have to worry about it. You'll never have to change anything. Essentially, you'll never have to worry about it. But again, if you're using Digicert for a specific reason or specific function, let us know in Twist. And again, I'll be in there right after this, and we can help you out. Charlie. Oh. Awesome. I appreciate that. I love to run my mouth. It's a little aggressive sometimes, but I love helping you guys. So it's not like I have to put on a face and act. It's fun. I like helping you guys. I like talking to you guys. I like to see you guys succeed. Seeing you guys succeed makes our job in life a lot better. It would be no fun if it was the opposite. I have noticed that after changing the Ezoic name servers, I have to clear the cache quite often, especially after publishing more content to get that up-to-date content. Okay, so actually someone asked this question earlier, guys, and in the back of my head, I wanted to go off on a tangent about something, but I actually forgot to mention it. So if you are updating content a lot and you don't like clearing cache manually all the time, you can actually download the plugin and you can set up CDN management through the plugin. So let's say you're in WordPress and you're editing an article and then you publish that edit or you publish a new article. Setting up CDN management to the plugin will automatically purge the old version of your page and post the new one. So that way you'll never have to worry about your visitor seeing old content. You'll never have to worry about manually clearing your cache. So yeah, this is something that I should be mentioning every week when someone even mentions the word cache, because it is so beneficial. But I will drop the article down in the bottom for you. Guys, I wouldn't necessarily say this to another publisher, but I'm going to tell you this. Guys, this is your homework for the day. You're going to have to set up CDN management through the plugin. Of course, you actually do not have to do this. I just wanted to say that as a joke. But I will say, if you're publishing new content all the time, making edits, just set up the CDN management and you won't have to do it ever again. Sweet Maljoy says, Zoic ads has caused me to fail Google Core Web Vitals on mobile FCP due to render blocking resources, even though I'm using all of the Leap features. Do you have any tips for how I can fix this? Yes. Well, I don't have any. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I'm an idiot. I pressed the stop cam button. I'm so sorry. Okay. So ads will not cause you to fail Google Core Web Vitals. Google Core Web Vitals are always scan content first, and Zoic never loads ads before content. Content is always loaded first. And while content's being loaded, programmatic bidding goes on the back end, which is why ads will then sometimes load after content. But I will say it again, content loads first, and that's basically what it's rendered off of. So render blocking resources, yes, we can take a look into this and see exactly what could be the issue. It could be external plugins. It could be, speed optimization plugins that are also kind of conflicting with our features. But yes, we can offer tips. on improvements for FCP, but I will ask you to go into Twist, Sweetmouth Joy, and basically post in there exactly what the issue is, and that way we can, we can see your data, we can check out your setup, and basically give you a better answer than just, not being able to see anything from here and answering that question. Tech Timmy says, could be bot traffic, as was the case with my smaller sites. Yeah. So again, with the really really small sites, and it gets denied for invalid traffic, we can easily go in and see, oh, there's only 2 visits a day. More likely than not, it's probably yourself either visiting either one or both the times, so it can skew the data. We'll be more than happy to go in and check. To be honest, it does no good for us to deny a site monetization. So if we're denying your site for monetization, it's not because we're out to get you or because any reason of that sort. It doesn't do us good. It doesn't do you any good. So we don't want to deny sites. So if we have to deny a site, it's going to have to be for policy reasons. But again, it does us no good. It does you no good. It's not something that we want to do either. But we just have to abide by policies in order to maintain healthy relationships with all of our partners and our networks. That is a really good point, texting me, especially if you're talking about LCP and CLS. But yeah, we'll be able to look through more in detail exactly what rendering services are talking about, and kind of go from there. Thanks for answering in detail, of course. Happy to do that. Can this website again monetize with the Zoic? Infolinkers.com. I definitely remember seeing the site many times, and I feel like we've looked at this into a bunch, but I don't have the answer off the top of my head. It's going to ask me to log into my computer again. It's being weird. But all the information regarding a reapply for monetization will be underneath the monetization tab of your dashboard. So you can find that there. And if you're like, hey, this makes no sense, I was denied for X, Y, and Z reason, I don't think this applies, we'll take a second look and just basically tell you from there.
Open a thread and twist.
Please open a thread and twist. We will definitely help. Guys, yes, sir. Lol. It almost felt funny coming out of my mouth. I've never given someone homework, and I never will to this date.
You did. Never.
But I guess I did. So, guys, CDN management will do you wonders. It'll save you lots of time, especially if you're continually working on content. You won't have to worry about clearing cache. My site was rejected 3 months ago with some anonymous person sending invalid traffic. Again, we've covered this, and we can continue to look at it. Perfect. Sweetmouth says, yep, we'll post that into Twist. Perfect. So again, if any of you guys are in here and have not been into Twist or don't have their invite to Twist or not sure what Twist is, please let me know right now, and just say, hey, Charlie, what the heck is Twist? I want to get in there, because that's where we do 99.9% of our support. It's super easy to use. It's like an open-ended Discord where we can all help each other, or we can work in specific threads for your site alone. But essentially, we can communicate much quicker than going back and forth with emails. But yeah, so if you're not in Twist, please let me know right now. Just say, hey, Charlie, I don't want to give out any personal information, but I'm not in Twist. And if you do, I'll just put, actually, you know what, regardless, I'll put my email again in the comment section. Again, only reach out to me if you need help getting into Twist. If you email me asking for, diagnose X, Y, and Z, I'll point you to Twist. But again, if you're not in Twist, reach out to my email right there, and I'll make sure you get in there right after this. Guys says, I currently use Smush to optimize my images. Can I remove that plugin, as the Zoic will squish my images down? Yes, absolutely. Nearly all the features offered externally are offered for Zoic for free. You can ensure things are compatible and more seamless. Furthermore, on top of that, or running like Squish, I know we're calling them Squish for whatever reason, but if you're basically running those type of features externally into Ezoic, we can run into some issues. But yeah, you can go into your speed tab, optimization settings, images, and then you can see all of the features available there. We can resize. We can serve all of your files as WebP formats, which is the fastest way to do it. Kind of a follow-up self question I'm going to ask myself and answer is, a lot of people will say, oh, I've enabled, to serve my images via WebP, but the URL still says .jpeg. The actual URL will not change, but the file will change when you look at it. If you inspect the page under networks, it will show WebP there. Cool. I'm caught up on all questions. We're right at 2 hours now. No one else has any meetings in this room after, at least for the rest of the day that I can see. So I'm more than happy to hang out for a little longer. I can even let me just extend this for 15 more minutes to see if anyone, just to make sure we don't get kicked out. But again, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them now. I also want to use this time to say thank you. I say it every time, but we appreciate you guys joining. You like doing these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do most of the talking, that's fine.
We'll get Taylor to run one of herself one day.
We'll see. I'm gonna go on Twist right now. So I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Taylor will be in Twist. Tucker's already in Twist. I'll be in Twist. It's a Twist party on Thursday. So again, if you have questions, ask them there. But I'm gonna stay in here for a couple more minutes in case people join late. I know people from different countries are joining in at different times during different parts of their day, but yeah, I do love talking to you guys. I will say the Access Now program is absolutely amazing. Of course, I'm going to say that because I work here, but also because it's a newer program and they really didn't cut the Access Now program short of any features. They literally, all the features that are available for premium are also available for Access Now, other than your avenues of support and the premium ad networks. So honestly, they really don't cut you guys short at all. The Access Now program is incredible. We love you guys as publishers. This is great for us. I like how we have kind of our mini community. I know U-Sports is here all the time. Tech Timmy's been interacting a lot. Gaz is here. On Sports is here. U-Sports is here. We have people come back all the time. Adrian's here. But I do think it's almost like we have a mini group. I'll call it a mini family in Access Now, which is awesome. But someone asked, why do you reject websites? The only reason we reject websites is if they're in direct violation of our policies. We don't want to reject websites, but again, if we have to, due to policy reasons, we are going to have to. We do have a lot of networks and partners. We use AWS, we use Cloudflare, we use Google Ad Network, we have all these, Verizon Network, we have all these partners, and if we're not upholding the minimum of what they want, then we're kind of hindering our relationship with them. So the only reason why we do reject websites is if we absolutely have to. It's not like we want to be like, oh, your website's on Pasta. We don't want to work with a Pasta site. That's not how it works. It's only going to be with policy violations. Guys, thank you. You're the best as well. Amazing stream. I learned a ton. Awesome. This is more important than anything. As long as you guys are learning and walking away with maybe some more insight, that's exactly what we're going for. So that's great. To also add to it, Tech Timmy, we do these on our end. When I say our end, I meant U.S. time zone every Thursday at 9 a.m. Our team is growing and our resources are growing. So we will look into running these maybe twice a week in the near future, kind of depending on how things go. But yeah, we're happy these are working for you guys. Thanks, U-Sports. You're awesome as well. We appreciate you coming back. Yes, Twist and Shout. It is a party. Twist and Shout. Twist and Shout. Okay, I'm not going to sing on live stream. That's a little much. I love these live streams. Me too. Okay, I know it's early to ask, but what do you recommend if my site gets rejected by Google Ad Manager domain status? So Mohammed, great question. If you if you're being rejected for your domain status, simply reach out to us in Twist, and to basically say, hey, my site was denied. Sometimes you can see the reason in the ad manager dashboard, but if not, we can check on the back end. And from there, I can say, oh, Mohammed, I see your site was denied for low value content. And then I checked out your site and I saw, this page is probably the reason why, or, these articles are the reason why. And I can basically facilitate that process for you. Charlie, is it allowed to send you a quick email with one website I'm about to do a complete redesign on? I email you after, so you can double check everything instead of opening a ticket. Yes, you can do that for me, Rude. But if I don't think you are in Twist anymore, huh? So I would say if you are in Twist, post in Twist. If not, send me a quick email. My response might be not as in depth. If you are completed with your time in Twist and you're now with the publisher success team, I would maybe advocate for doing both, because they are going to have a lot more time to sit down and really go into detail what exactly can be done. Does Zoic buy websites? We do not. Good question. We do not buy websites. I know you can sell your website many other avenues and many other ways, but no, we do not buy websites right now. All right, everyone. Oh, Pratik says, is Ezoic ads partner? I'm confused of your question here, but I think one of the common misconceptions of what a Zoic is, people say, oh, I was working with this media company, or I was working with, oh, shoot. A lot of the times people will be like, oh, I was working with, I was working with all these other companies, but now I want to work with the Zoic ad network. Hello, camera. So a Zoic is not just an ad network. That's kind of, that is exactly what a Zoic is not. It has an ad network. It has a great ad network. But essentially, a Zoic is an all-in-one platform for you all to use to help facilitate and grow your site. So yes, it has AI you can use for title tag tester and SEO purposes and site speed purposes, and AI for ads and all these amazing things, and free SSL and free hosting, and the list goes on. So Zoic is more of just an all-in-one tool that you all get to use. It's not just an ad network. It has many, many other things that it also has to offer for free to add on top of that. I have heard of people selling their sites to a Zoic. I can ask, but I know we're not buying sites off people. Maybe you read something. Sometimes publishers that have used a Zoic in the past sell their domains, and they say, oh, I'm selling my domain, but you can use the Zoic to it. I'm not sure exactly, but when Zoic started feature to monetize sites. So I think I understand your question, but Ezoic was monetizing sites from when Ezoic originally started in 2016. So by that time, they were a Google ad partner. So they were basically showing ads from the beginning, if that was your question. And Ezoic as a business was kind of built off the artificial intelligence that they were able to build out for ads specifically, which is our ad tester, of course. So they've been monetizing sites from the beginning. And from the beginning, I mean the beginning of Ezoic's time frame. All right, everyone. I will close this out at 11:10. It's 11:09 now, so I'll close it out at 11:11 just to end on some good luck, because that's a good number. I passed the monetization test about 2 months ago. What do I expect to get the monetization badge? Okay, Benedict, this sounds like you have the old version of the dashboard. Please reach out to us in Twist, or please send me a quick email. And I just want to make sure that your dashboard is showing the newest version of it, because we actually got rid of the monetization test and the badges. So now what you do is you just watch the videos, you interactively set up your site, and then you're ready to go. There's no badges, there's no courses, there's no tests. So Benedict, please reach out to me in Twist, or send me a quick email, and I'll make sure that everything's dialed in there. I just sent my email again. Again, I won't be able to troubleshoot things for you, and I won't be able to do deep dives and data searches if you reach out. But I just want to facilitate to make sure that you're in the right places and that your dashboard's all linked up. Mark, I appreciate that. You are also great. You had a handful of really good questions. I don't believe you've been in here before, so I want to say thanks for joining. And if you have, I apologize, but thank you for coming back. And hopefully I'll see you next Thursday as well. But yeah, I'll pin this here so you guys can see my email. Again, I will not be. Please add more videos in the Zoic How to series in YouTube. Gotcha. We'll do that for sure. And we can also post something in Twist so we can kind of prioritize YouTube and video. But again, Pratik, please go into Twist and we can work on that for the rest of the day. We can even pin some messages for you all. But again, thank you all so much for joining. It really is the highlight of my week. I love talking to you guys. I love seeing you guys succeed. I love learning during the week so I can try to give you some more insight during these times. But I think more next week, I'm going to try to set aside more time, especially in the early days of the week, to see if I can kind of maybe like build up a mini 10-minute TED talk of basically new features and things to look on. Where this pop-up just came from, and I can't get it to go away. Thanks for the live session. It's more than 2 hours and your passion is still high. I would say my passion is high because you guys are so interested. So it keeps me interested. I'll say it's also part of the coffee I'm drinking. But again, I think I get a lot of, I don't get a lot of extrinsic value through my work. I think honestly, I get a lot of my value through you guys. So if you guys are doing well, then I'm going to be happy. Again, if you guys are earning a lot of money and happy, then I'm happy. It's never going to be the opposite. I'll never be happy seeing you guys do bad. So it's more the fact that I will do everything in my power so you guys, succeed at the highest level. The world is your oyster. You can grow as big as you want. Zoic will not limitate you. I will not as well. If you are level 2, you can that means you've already done your time in Twist. And if you're in level 2, that means you actually have a publisher success manager that you can actually reach out specifically. So you do have the one-on-one. So Access Now, of course, you do not have the one-on-one, but we offer other things like this, like live stream. We have Twist. We have, I don't want to say the best, but I want to say we have a really good support system for how many publishers we see. That's why we kind of want all the publishers to get into Twist because we believe it's really efficient. If you guys send emails to notify about this stream, you should get on the general Zoic mailing list. It'll be a lot more people to join. So much value. Cheers. Great idea. I think we are somewhat working on this right now, but for now, I've just been posting in Twist. And then what I do when I post in Twist, I know it might be kind of annoying and I'm sorry, but I actually tag everyone in all the channels so they might get a notification. If you have notifications turned on in Twist, then you will get the email, but I agree that we need to kind of outreach a bit more to get, from a couple of different other people. But I'm happy they add value to you. If you guys are saying they add value, we are not going to stop doing them. We will only do more of them because that's exactly what we're trying to get at. Okay, awesome. I think I'm all caught up. I've gone on a bunch of rants. I think I've covered all the rants that I wanted. I wrote a couple things down just to make sure. We covered Q2 and the ad rates, covered up Twist, getting through all that. Yep, we covered just about everything we needed to cover. So again, guys, if you like these and you want more of them, let me know and join me next week. And then again, I will be going to Twist right now for the next hour or so before lunch. So please head over there and I'll help you out in any way I can. Again, if you're not in Twist and you think you should be because your Access Now at level 1, please reach out to my email and I'll make sure you're in there. I won't be able to troubleshoot for my email. I know I've said that 100 times, but I'll help you. Oh, Bradley, yes. I'm going to answer your question just before I turn it off. So Jeff, our head PSM, did answer your question and said, so he said he wants you to apply to level 2, and that just add in the notes of your application your AdSense mediation earnings, and he said that he will add it to the application and that you should be able to qualify with the mediation earnings. So that is from Jeff himself. He's the one that actually reviews all of them along with our lead Jan. But yeah, apply, add it to the note, and you should be good. Cool. I'm glad you came back in for that because I know I was worried you left or whatnot, but yes. All right, I've said bye 100 times. I'll say it for 101st time, but I'm really gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you guys get through Thursday. Enjoy your Friday and have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Cheers, everyone.